Welcome, dear listener. Settle into your comfortable space, let your eyes grow heavy, and allow your mind to wander with me into a serene world far from the rush of everyday life. Tonight, we embark on a gentle journey through A Starry Night in the Desert Oasis, calming tale. Imagine the vast, golden dunes of an ancient desert stretching endlessly under a velvet sky, dotted with countless stars that twinkle like distant promises. The air is cool now, after the sun has dipped below the horizon, carrying a faint, earthy scent of sand warmed by the day. In the heart of this quiet expanse lies a hidden gem, an oasis, where crystal-clear waters pool in a natural basin, fringed by tall palms swaying softly in the breeze. And nestled along the water's edge is a cluster of graceful willow trees, their long, trailing branches dipping into the ripples like fingers tracing secrets on the surface. The locals call this spot the Whispers of the Willow Grove, for when the wind stirs through the leaves, it creates a soft, murmuring sound, like nature itself sharing gentle confidences. As the moon rises, casting a silvery glow over everything, the oasis comes alive in its own peaceful way. The water laps quietly against smooth stones, and the occasional call of a night bird echoes faintly in the distance. Crickets chirp in a rhythmic lullaby, their song blending with the rustle of the willows. Feel the soft sand beneath your feet, still holding a whisper of daytime warmth, and breathe in the subtle aroma of blooming night flowers, jasmine and desert lilies, that perfume the air with their delicate sweetness. This is a place where time slows, where the worries of the world fade into the shadows, and where simple connections bloom like the oasis itself amid the arid sands. In a small cluster of adobe homes built from the earth's own clay, lit by the soft flicker of lanterns, live our companions for this evening. First, there's Lila, the gentle weaver. With her warm brown eyes and hands calloused from years of crafting, Lila is in her mid-40s, her silver-streaked hair tied back in a loose braid. She's known for her quiet strength, always finding beauty in the ordinary, turning reeds from the oasis into intricate baskets or weaving soft scarves from wool dyed with natural hues from the desert plants. Lila's personality is nurturing, like a steady flame that warms without overwhelming. She listens more than she speaks, offering comfort in her presence alone. Then there's Amir, the curious beekeeper, a young man in his late 20s with a mop of dark curls and a perpetual spark of wonder in his hazel eyes. Amir tends to the hives tucked among the palms, harvesting honey that tastes of the wildflowers the bees visit. He's enthusiastic yet gentle, always eager to learn about the small miracles of nature, the way bees dance to communicate or how the oasis sustains life in the harshest of places. His curiosity draws people in, but he tempers it with a respectful calm, never pushing, always inviting others to share in his discoveries. And finally, Elias, the reflective traveler. An elder in his 60s, with a weathered face etched by sun and stories, and a beard streaked with gray, Elias has wandered many paths before settling by this oasis. He carries a worn leather satchel filled with maps and mementos, his deep voice resonating like the low hum of the desert wind. Elias is contemplative, often gazing at the stars as if reading old letters from the universe. His personality is wise and unhurried, offering insights that feel like gifts, wrapped in humility and a touch of melancholy softened by hope. On this starry night, as the desert cools and the oasis breathes easy, these three souls find themselves drawn together by the whispers of the willow grove. Let's join them now, letting the story unfold like a soft blanket wrapping around you, guiding you toward restful dreams. Lila steps out from her modest home, the door creaking softly on its hinges like a sigh. The evening air greets her, cool and refreshing against her skin, carrying the faint, sweet tang of ripening dates from the nearby palms. She adjusts the woven shawl around her shoulders, its fibers soft and familiar, dyed a gentle indigo from berries she gathered last season. In her hands, she holds a small basket filled with fresh-baked flatbread, still warm to the touch, and a jar of herbal tea leaves, chamomile and mint, plucked from the edges of the oasis where the water meets the sand. Tonight, she feels a quiet pull toward the whispers of the willow grove, that sacred spot where the willows stand sentinel, their leaves shimmering in the moonlight. As she walks along the path worn smooth by countless footsteps, the sand shifts gently under her sandals, each step a soft crunch that blends with the distant murmur of the water. The stars above seem to multiply as the sky darkens fully, a canopy of light that makes her feel small yet connected to something vast and eternal. Lila pauses for a moment, closing her eyes to inhale deeply. The air is alive with the clean, mineral scent of the oasis water, mixed with the earthy undertone of the desert soil. It's moments like these that remind her of the simple joys, the way the world quiets at night, allowing room for thoughts to settle like dust after a breeze. Not far ahead, she spots Amir emerging from his beehives. The hives are humble structures of clay and wood, positioned where the sun warms them by day and the palms provide shade. Amir is carefully closing a hive box, his movements deliberate and respectful, as if handling fragile treasures. He wears a light tunic, stained faintly with pollen, and his face lights up with a soft smile as he sees Lila approaching. "Good evening, Lila," he calls gently, his voice carrying on the breeze like a melody. The bees are settling in for the night. They hummed a little louder today, perhaps sensing the cool air coming. Lila returns the smile, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Evening, Amir. They must know something we don't. I've brought some bread and tea. Care to join me by the grove?" The whispers seem especially inviting tonight. Amir nods, wiping his hands on a cloth before falling into step beside her. "I'd like that. I've been thinking about the honey harvest tomorrow. The combs are heavy with nectar from the wildflowers. It's like the desert's way of giving back." As they walk, Amir points out small details, a cluster of tiny white blossoms peeking from the sand, their petals velvety soft if you brush them lightly, releasing a subtle, honeyed fragrance. The path winds closer to the water, where the willows begin to appear, their branches arching gracefully, leaves rustling in a hushed chorus that sounds almost like whispered conversations. They reach the edge of the whispers of the willow grove, where the ground turns from sand to soft grass, damp with evening dew that cools their feet through their sandals. The willows form a natural canopy, their long tendrils swaying like curtains in a gentle theater. Here, the air feels thicker with moisture, carrying the fresh, green scent of the leaves and the faint, mossy undertone from the stones by the water. Lila and Amir find a spot on a flat rock, smoothed by time and tide, and settle down. Lila unfolds a small cloth from her basket, laying out the bread, its crust slightly crisp, the inside fluffy and aromatic with hints of sesame. Just as they begin to pour the tea, steaming lightly, infusing the air with calming mint, Elias appears from the shadows of the palms. His steps are slow and measured, the sand whispering under his boots. He carries a small lantern, its flame dancing softly, casting warm golden hues on his face. "Ah, friends," he says in his deep, resonant voice, like the echo of a distant drum. "The stars called me out tonight, and now I see why. May I join your gathering?" "Of course, Elias," Lila replies warmly, patting the space beside her. "We've just started." "Tea." Elias nods gratefully, lowering himself onto the grass with a soft sigh. The ground is cool and yielding, like a natural cushion, and he stretches his legs out, feeling the tension of the day melt away. "Thank you. The walk here always clears my mind. Look at that sky. It's as if the universe is sharing its secrets with us." He gazes upward, the stars reflecting in his eyes, and the group falls into a comfortable silence for a moment, broken only by the gentle lapping of the water and the whispers from the willows. Amir breaks the bread, passing pieces around. The texture is perfect, slightly chewy, with a warmth that spreads through their fingers. "Elias, you've traveled so far. Does this oasis remind you of other places you've seen?" he asks, his tone curious but unhurried, like a bee exploring a flower. Elias chews thoughtfully, the bread's subtle saltiness mingling with the sweet honey Amir drizzles on top from a small jar he brought. "Oh yes, I've crossed rivers wider than this desert and mountains that touch the clouds. But there's something unique here, the way the dryness gives way to life. It's like hope sprouting in unexpected places. Remember that village by the sea I told you about? The waves crashed like thunder, but here, the calm is deeper." Lila listens, sipping her tea. The liquid is warm, sliding down her throat with a soothing herbal note that relaxes her muscles. "Hope," she muses softly. "That's what I feel when I weave. Each thread is a small choice, building something whole. Like how we three come together, different paths, but sharing this moment." Their conversation flows like the oasis stream, gentle, meandering, without rush. Amir shares about his bees, describing how they return to the hive at dusk, their wings buzzing faintly as they settle. "It's fascinating," he says, his voice animated yet soft. "They communicate through dances. A wiggle here, a circle there, telling where the best flowers are. Makes me think about how we connect, too. Not always with words, but with actions like this gathering." Elias nods, his eyes distant yet present. "True. In my travels, I've learned that connections are the true maps we follow. I once met a shepherd in the hills who said the stars are like old friends, always there, even when clouds hide them. Tonight they shine clear, reminding us we're not alone." As the night deepens, they decide to take a gentle stroll through the whispers of the willow grove. The path is narrow, lined with soft moss that cushions their steps, releasing a fresh, earthy scent with each footfall. The willow branches brush against their arms, light as feathers, and the leaves rustle overhead in a continuous, soothing whisper. Moonlight filters through, creating dappled patterns on the ground like scattered silver coins. Amir points out a cluster of fireflies, subtle, natural glows that dance near the water, their lights soft and intermittent, adding a touch of magic to the realism of the scene without overwhelming the calm. "See there," Amir whispers, not wanting to disturb the peace. "They're like tiny stars fallen to earth. The bees rest now, but these little ones keep the night alive." Lila reaches out to touch a willow branch, feeling its smooth, flexible bark under her fingers. "The whispers sound like old stories being told," she says reflectively. "Makes me wonder what tales this grove holds." Elias smiles faintly, his lantern swinging gently. "Perhaps our own. Let's sit by the water for a bit." They find a clearing where the grass is thick and inviting, like a natural bed. Settling down, they share more. Elias recounts a peaceful memory from his youth, of watching sunsets with his family, the colors bleeding into the sky like watercolors. Amir talks about his dreams of expanding the hives, not for gain, but to nurture more life in the oasis. Lila speaks of her weaving as a form of meditation, each knot a breath, each pattern a reflection of the world's quiet beauty. Hours pass unnoticed, the stars wheeling slowly overhead, the air growing cooler but never cold, wrapped in the oasis's embrace. Their words weave together like Lila's threads, gentle, supportive, fostering a sense of community. Emotions surface softly. Amir's quiet excitement for tomorrow, Elias's reflective gratitude for the present, Lila's nurturing contentment in their bond. No conflicts arise, only understanding, like the willows bending without breaking. As midnight approaches, a soft breeze stirs the grove stronger, the whispers growing into a lullaby. They feel the pull of rest, their bodies heavy with relaxation, minds clear and connected. With the stars now at their brightest, painting the sky in a tapestry of light, the three friends rise slowly, exchanging warm goodnights. "This night has been a gift," Elias says, his voice a gentle rumble. "May we carry its peace into our dreams." Amir nods, his eyes sleepy but content. "Until tomorrow, under the same sky." Lila hugs them both lightly, feeling the soft fabric of their clothes and the warmth of true connection. "Sleep well, my friends. The oasis watches over us." They part ways, each heading to their homes, the sand cool and silent underfoot. The whispers of the willow grove fade behind them, but the tranquility lingers, like a soft echo in their hearts. As the oasis settles into deeper night, the water stills, the stars watch, and a profound sense of hope blooms, reminding us that in quiet moments, connections form, tranquility reigns, and life renews itself gently. And now, dear listener, let this tale carry you into your own peaceful slumber. Feel the desert's calm wrap around you, the stars guiding your dreams. To drift into more peaceful tales, subscribe to Sleep Dream Stories for more soothing stories. Good night.